Hey everyone, Will here again. As promised, here's the follow-up video on the Real Avid Gun Tool Pro AR15. You're going to see some close-up pictures here of the different features of the tool, some close-ups of the bit driver and the different tools that are incorporated in this unit. And also, if you click below, you'll be able to see our original unboxing video where we go into detail about what the different tools that are included are. What's coming up next is the cleaning video that I promised. I'm going to be taking one of the dirtier bolt carrier groups that I have, and I'm going to use the Gun Tool Pro AR15 to clean up the carrier and the bolt, really kind of give it a test to see how it works, and I think you'll be pleased. So check this out, guys. This is a great item, something that would be perfect for the range bag or to throw in your pack, and I really think it, for the minimal investment, it's a good tool to have on your person to kind of eliminate all the extra stuff you might carry along. So stay tuned and enjoy. Hey guys, Will Chambers here, AR15 Hunter. We're back with the Real Avid Gun Tool Pro AR15. And if you watched our unboxing video, I mentioned that I was going to pull out the bolt carrier group from one of my dirty ARs and give this thing a test, cleaning a pretty filthy bolt carrier group. This is my carbine. This is a gun that I use for most of my plinking at the range, or if I shoot any kind of tactical stuff. I have used this gun in the past for hunting groundhogs with iron sights. However, I've moved up to rifles with optics now and stainless barrels. But this gun probably sees the most use out of all of my ARs. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the bolt carrier group out. If my memory serves me right, this thing's had about 2,000 rounds without any hard cleaning. I've simply pulled the bolt carrier group out, wiped it off, relubricated, pulled it out. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it is pretty filthy in there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the carrier here. Set the rifle aside. Bear with me here. And here we go. So this is my extremely filthy carrier. As you can see, my fingers, they're getting all gunked up here. So what I'm going to do, the first thing, I'm just going to take a rag and wipe off all the residue, loose stuff on here, and get it off so I'm not getting it all over my hands. Get this thing ready to go for the Real Avid tool. So let's go ahead and get the Gun Tool Pro out here and go ahead and grab this is the bolt scraper. So I'm going to use this because it looked like it was a nice little tool to take the retaining pin out. Drop the firing pin. As you see, it's filthy. Got the cam pin here and the bolt. So I'm going to start with the bolt. And this is, they say it's a 9-function scraper here. So there's various different tasks you can complete with this tool. One of them is taking it like so and sliding it here, and you can tell that was a really tight fit because mine is extremely dirty. And you simply scrape, and as you can see in here, hopefully, you can see the carbon just flaking off there. That's actually pretty cool. I've never been able to scrape carbon off that easily. I have not used one of the Cat M tools. However, I know those are really popular, but this is actually working quite well. And I don't know if you guys can see, but it scraped off a good deal of that carbon with relative ease. And I haven't even soaked this in any kind of solvent or anything. I just grabbed it out and started scraping away. And I was told by the guys at Real Avid that the steel that this is made from is not hard enough to where it's going to damage the bolt by scraping it. So okay, so we've got that cleaned off pretty good. I'll probably hit that with some solvent, clean it up a little more. Some of the other things you can do here is on the bolt face, there's a scraper right here on the end that you can use to scrape in there. You can use a little hook to get down in that crack. You can use it to scrape behind the edge of the extractor here. Get in there if there's any kind of buildup. And then there's another scraper here that's meant to go in between the locking lugs. Now, even though this bolt, is pretty dirty, there's not a bunch of crud in there, so I don't know how often you'll actually use that, but it's there if you need it. And then you can also use, there's some cutout notches inside the hook here that are made to scrape off the crud from your firing pin here, and then there's a smaller one here for the smaller edge there. However, I keep my rifles lubed with COP, and most of the time my firing pins just wipe off pretty easily. However, I have sometimes had some carbon buildup down in here like so, and again you can use this scraper to get down in there and work that out. Come back with your towel and wipe it away. And of course my hands are getting completely filthy here. A lot of times guys will wear gloves, probably recommended. I never do, but it's probably a smart thing to do, especially when you're working with things like Hoppe's number 9, different solvents that are pretty toxic. So there's our bolt. Now the next interesting tool on here, which I was interested in, is the carrier scraper. Now I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to try to look here. Down inside the carrier, down inside here where the bolt goes, gets extremely dirty, and there's always a lot of buildup at the very bottom on that surface down there. And I use what I use is actually a stripper clip with the brass insert removed and a patch, and I usually scrape down in there. There's other tools that go down inside there and help you scrape it out. So the Gun Tool Pro AR15 has this nice scraper here, and it does have a sharper edge so it can get down in there and scrape it out. So again, this is made out of steel that is not supposed to hurt the inside of the carrier when you get down in there and scrape. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it down in there, and I can already hear it chunking stuff up and scraping. And I'm going to dump it out here, and you can see a lot of the carbon that's been scraped out of there, scraped from that edge. There's a shoulder down in there that just builds up carbon. It's really hard to get clean. Honestly, I don't usually pay too much attention to that. I get it as clean as I can. I put the rifle back together. It's only going to build up as much as it can. It's not going to build up to where it's going to make the rifle malfunction. Typically, from my understanding, is that it will only build up to a certain point, and that's all that's going to build up. But it is nice to be able to get in there with a tool and get that nice and clean, and get all that stuff scraped out of there. So I'm just getting that in, just scraping it around. And again, you can see just all the carbon that I've been scraping off from the inside of there. And then I'll probably go back with my AP brush and either some Hoppe's number 9 or the folks from Fire Clean gave me a bottle of this at SHOT Show. I'm going to try this out. I've heard a lot of good things about Fire Clean, but I've never used it myself. So I'll probably maybe give this a go. And I'll get in there and clean that out some more. Also, another area you can use a scraper for, I guess you could get inside the key here if you wanted to, if you had some kind of buildup there for the gas key. So pretty handy little tool. I definitely like the carbon scraper for the tail of the bolt. That worked really well. And of course the scraper for inside the carrier. Those are both really handy tools to get your bolt carrier group spick and span and get all the carbon off that you can. Looking down in there, it looks like it got quite a bit of it out of there, especially on that bottom in that shoulder where it just builds up in that corner. And I'm still going back in there, and every time I put it in there I'm getting a little bit more and a little bit more. This doesn't have quite the tight fit like the bolt scraper did on the bolt tail, but if you can hear that, it's getting down in there and getting that crud out. Now, being that I haven't used the CAD-M tool, I don't know if this is working better or not, but again, every time I put it in there and I scrape, I'm getting a nice little pile of carbon. So it looks like it works as advertised. Overall, so far, I'm impressed with the tool. It's a handy little thing to have, especially in your kit. The thing I like about it is this little tool here replaces a bunch of different tools, different screwdrivers. I've got torque screwdrivers. You can see some of them here laying on my bench. A lot of times I'll have a lot of these in my toolkit going to the range, and what it does is it makes me have to basically carry a whole bunch of stuff out to the range with me, whereas this tool here allows me to have just one tool and it'll do just about everything I want. I always carry a cleaning rod with me, so I've got a rod in this and I'm pretty much set. So definitely happy with the performance so far, and we're going to continue to use it. We're going to get some close-ups and do our written report, and we'll let you guys know what we think about it. But so far, you know, for the price of this model, I think it's definitely a sound investment, especially compared to some of the more expensive tools out there. These are relatively affordable, and being that you know, it is made in China, that's about one of the only gripes I have with it. It is a little cheaper, but then again, for what it is, I don't see this failing. You know, during normal use, everything seems to be well made. So that's about it.